Rasuke here, salutations, and Jump Force. I have not picked it up. I have thought about it and watched review after review after review, looked at the gameplay, and I've decided I'm not going to pick it up, even with the release of the DLC characters. And I started to think it reminds me of Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Now, hold on before you thumbs this down. I'm not saying exactly, but it reminds me a lot of it. First of all, I really thought I was okay with the art style, but really now it bothers me. Certain characters look weird. I've seen cutscenes, I've seen playthroughs, and things like that. I've seen matches. There are quite a bit of characters I actually like. Like the roster is better versus Marvel versus Capcom, but still there's some weird choices. Some things, let's talk about the roster first. There are way too many Naruto characters. Think about it. We played all the Ninja Storm games, and I actually even own the collection where it has all of them, including Naruto to Boruto, and that sort of thing. So if I really wanted to play with Naruto characters, I go there. And I have it digitally, so it's just on my hard drive. I can just boot that up and start playing it. Right? Dragon Ball Z characters. If I really wanted to play that, I could play Dragon Ball Fighters. Too many in there. And think about all the Tenkaichi, Budokai, Xenoverse, all of those different games. If you really wanted to play Dragon Ball, you play that. Then, One Piece. I'm not a fan of One Piece. I don't get the appeal, and I'm not a fan of the art style anime or even game-wise, but I know it's extremely popular. He's stretchy, like Mr. Fantastic from Marvel Universe. And then some of his characters, I know it's more silly and slapstick and much more fun, but there's some great fights, but just not my cup of tea. So all of those fighters are out to me. Like, I know of some of them, but I'm not interested. All the others, I am. Saint Seiya, JoJo, Fist of the North Star, Hunter x Hunter, Yu Yu Hakusho, and there are many. Oh, of course, My Hero Academia. I don't know that much about Black Clover, but I would prefer that because it's something new. Think about that. Something new. But also, too, where are all the classic, Shonen Jump characters? There should be a lot more. The DS game was the ultimate one. I actually used to own that. And now I'm so sad that I don't own that. Maybe I could find it on, find it and put it on my computer and play it from every once in a while. But I'm not a fan of this artwork. They do not feel like, you think from manga and anime, we should get anime and manga type of graphics. Think about this. Wouldn't it be cool if the cinematics were like manga strips? You see what I mean? You don't need to put them in backgrounds. This whole real world thing, I don't like. The new created characters by Akira Toriyama, I understand, but there are much more other. I mean, where's Kuro Sensei from Assassination Classroom? That would be a weird character. Where, what I mean? There should be more slapstick characters. Shaman King should be in there. Madaka Box. I'm just going off the top of my head here. Now, like I said, not exactly, but think about the Marvel versus Capcom faces. You know what I mean? Like Chun-Li and things like that. I think you miss out on the whole comic book, manga, anime, animation feel when you try to go that way. You know what I mean? Unless you're going to stylize the graphics a lot more. Also, I think that the create a character, they put that in there so they could be lazy. Think about this. You could create all the characters that are not in the game. They won't have their move sets. You know what I mean? But, you can make your own version of said character. But there's some interesting things about the creative character that I've seen nobody does. Like, how come I can't use a sword? You know what I mean? You use energy swords, but no. If this is a creative character, how come I can't get a sword like Trunks, Rurouni Kenshin? Oh, some of the Bleach characters. You see what I'm getting at? Where are those kind of weapons? What maybe I should be able to use Nimbus and the pole that Goku had in Dragon Ball. Where's Kurobara's swords from Yu Yu Hakusho? On and on and on. You kind of get my point. More characters, even from JoJo's. I'm a big fan of that. But there's others, like I said. So I think the created character was just a lazy way, like, hey, we can't put all those characters in it. Have them do the work on their own. We're the developers, but let them, this is just a cash grab. Let them get that on their own. So the story for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite was terrible. Absolutely terrible. The characters' interactions were terrible. There were some weird animation, and I didn't even like the group dynamics. They put weird characters together that, to me, just didn't seem right. Like, you would have, like, Rocket Raccoon with, like, Venom or something like that, where, to me, or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, just weird combinations that didn't congeal right. I feel, mind you, I don't own the game, but I've seen some of the story with Jump Force. Also a bad name, by the way. I don't like the name Jump Force. Jump Force something or something before. I get it, Shonen Jump. You're a force, you're a group or whatever. But it literally is the same thing. You break up into teams just like they did in a Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite storyline. Because I own that or used to own that and play it. And you would, jump around from here to here to here trying to stop the bad guys, And it's the same thing. And I just was really thinking, like, yeah, this is like Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. And also, too, let's get into the combat. It's way more shallow, way more simplistic. I mean, they do not reward you for creative combos. I know that the game director and designer of this said that this is not competitive, but come on, man. Some basic, like setups. Like, it's better to just mash. I mean, it almost feels like he made this game for a cell phone or for a tablet. You know what I mean? Where the best combo is just to mash. No creativity. If you launch somebody up or do some, I mean, it has some of that, but it doesn't reward you as much. The greatest damage you can do is just mash and switch to another character. Also, two modes. Sharing one lifeline, at least Marvel vs. Capcom, to me, had better gameplay. You know what I mean? The tag feature, it's more than one life bar. That's one thing. They should have taken a look at King of Fighters. The last one was 14. So check this out. Hopefully you're still with me. Check this out. You have an option to play two different versus mode, online and offline. Single player and team. Single player, one-on-one, you pick your character and you fight. That could even be an arcade mode. Then you have your team mode where you could still have that one life bar, but people choose to pick that. Or you could have went the other way where each one has their own lifeline, their life bar. Because look at these attacks. They're gigantic. I mean, one of those super attacks takes, 40, 50, sometimes 60% of health. So you could kill off one of the three characters, or you should have just made it two characters. So I'm not, I look at the last thing, and I'm going to wrap it up here. It's right around the 10-minute mark that I just notice over and over in gameplay, and I know it's just a thing with me, and I do love anime. It's my favorite one of my favorite genres and things like that, especially anime games and stuff like that. I love action games in general and fantasy and all that things. But the variety as far as the attacks is there's a lot of the characters that just punch. Like the punch is the ultimate move in this. JoJo, Dio, Luffy, Gon, you know what I mean? Kenshiro from Fist of the North Star, and it's just I mean, nobody hardly kicks, nobody does a body slam. I mean, I'm just talking about unique attacks. You know what I mean? Like something that really stands out as far as their fighting style. You know, the swordsmen are actually much more different, and also too, I think his name is Dai from Dragon Quest. That's a video game. Now I know they made an animation, but to my knowledge, off the top of my head, Dragon Quest is a video game. Okay, I don't think it was an animation first. At least I don't think. So you guys let me know about that. I haven't checked. I'm just talking off the top of my head. But let me know, and do you feel, if you've had the game and if you've played Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, does this remind you of that? Thanks for taking the time to check this out. This is Rasuke.